took a stroll down to the bridge earlier, and we have a little bridge down the road. Actually, we have two bridges. We have one 15 minutes that way and one 20 minutes that way. One is a little footbridge over a river. The other one is a railway bridge, and that's why every now and then you'll hear a train go by. You also may hear some of the farmers up the field talking to each other. The sound, even though there are trees everywhere, the sound carries quite a distance because there are a lot of fields around as well. And of course, this time of year, a lot of farmers start coming out and working on their fields and tending to their land, which is awesome. Respect to all you farmers out there, by the way. You guys inspire me. Some of the hardest working people I know. Some of the nicest, kindest people I know. Anyway, talking about bridges. I walked under the bridge and I had a few thoughts on that because it made me think of bridges in different terms. And bridges are really interesting things. You have all kinds of bridges. We have railway bridges, footbridges, wooden bridges, metal bridges, traffic bridges, drawbridges. I don't know, what else we have? Jeff bridges? The bridge to Tarabithia? Don't cry, please. There are bridges everywhere. Bridges are a marvel of engineering. They're amazing, and what are bridges designed to do? They are designed to usually overcome an obstacle and connect 2 points. And bridges are interesting when it comes to people. So, in one of the earlier videos I did this week, I talked about what it means to be a man and how taking responsibility and becoming a real man can scare some people. And if you begin as not being a strong man and you become a strong man, that can actually burn a lot of bridges for you. So heads up. Why is that? That's because people are used to you being a certain way. And maybe they feel that you are in subjection to them. You are lesser to them, or lesser than them. They are of a higher station than you. And once you start to go, hey, no, do you know what? I'm a man. Once you start putting your head up and your chest out, people don't like that. And it can lead to people burning bridges. So it got me thinking along those lines. Because bridges are important. We need bridges. Otherwise, life can be very, very difficult. So relationships are important because we come to rely on relationships, and that kind of support can help us in life also. Remember, bridges are a way to bring 2 points together, right? Or a way to, let's say, shorten a path between 2 points. So you can go down into the valley, go along a river, look for a ford somewhere, cross it, come over to the other side of the valley, climb up into the top of the valley, and you're where you want to be. Or you can just go across a bridge, which is easier, right? Which is more efficient. And that's what bridges do for us as people in our relationships with our friends, our colleagues, our family, whoever. And again, bridges are interesting because bridges require maintenance. Relationships require maintenance just like bridges. And the minute you stop maintaining that relationship, it starts falling apart. And then we find ourselves in a position where we haven't been giving someone the attention they need and deserve. We haven't been giving that relationship the attention it needs. And you go to try to walk across the bridge after a few years or whatever, and suddenly you're halfway across and it gives out from under you and you find yourself in the river. And then we find ourselves pointing our finger at the other person as if it was their fault, as if it was their responsibility for not maintaining the bridge. But remember, it takes two to tango. A bridge is a two-way street. There are two people involved. There's you and me, or you and the other person. And both people need to repair and maintain that bridge. So if you find yourself relying on someone and they don't come through for you because you haven't been maintaining that relationship, and you find yourself in the water and in a difficult position because of that, before you point the finger at that person, consider the part you had to play, or the lack thereof in that bridge, and in what happened to that bridge when you tried to cross it. Another interesting thought I had on bridges was, we talk about burning bridges. Talked about it a minute ago. But if you want to be a successful man, you can't do that without burning bridges along the way. And that's not because you want to burn the bridges. I'm not saying you have to go around setting bridges on fire to be successful. But you can't help but burn a few when you go from A to B to C to wherever. And sometimes you do have to burn those bridges to get to where you want to be. But more often than not, you'll find that it's the other people burning the bridges because they don't like to see where you're going. You've gone off to another bridge and you're no longer working on their bridge. And they're like, well, I'm going to burn it. Why do we use this bridge anymore? And we've had that recently. I've experienced that recently in business and in other areas of life where bridges have been burnt. But what it made me wonder was, we talk about burning bridges with people. It happens. Humans are complex, complicated, messy things. The world is full of chaos. Life is all over the place. We're going to upset people, we're going to disappoint people, and they're going to do the same to us. And unfortunately, sometimes that leads to a bridge or several bridges being burnt. However, consider this. Can such a bridge be rebuilt? Can you rebuild a bridge that has been burnt? Whether it was you who burnt it or someone else that burnt it. Can that bridge be rebuilt? And that made me realize that sometimes people try to rebuild the bridge from their end of the valley. So they're going over their section of river. And they're expecting the other person to meet them somewhere in the middle. And they reach the middle and that person's nowhere to be found. Because that person is not ready to build a bridge or to rebuild a bridge. And maybe they never will be ready. Maybe that bridge is gone. And you can't rebuild it no matter what. And the sad thing is, some people get so hung up on old relationships. And this can be like romantic relationships, like an ex-partner, ex-boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever, ex-wife, ex-husband. It could be an old friendship. It could be a relationship that you used to have with a family member that's no longer there. It could be the relationship with a colleague at work or a schoolmate. And you maybe look back to the good old days when you had this nice bridge and nice support and you relied on each other and there was lots of going back and forward on this bridge. Something happened and the bridge is no longer there. It's burnt, it's gone, it's destroyed. And sometimes we can go back to it and go, I wish that bridge was still there. Let me extend this bridge back to the middle. Let me keep building to see if we can reach out to this person again. Let me test the waters. Let me extend a hand. And sometimes that is not reciprocated. Sometimes, more often than we would like, you get to the other side and that person just isn't willing to meet you halfway, or they just aren't there anymore. And that's no one's fault. But some people can get so hung up on the idea of rebuilding old bridges that the other person doesn't want to be rebuilt. And it's a waste of time, it's a waste of your resources, and a waste of your bandwidth to do that. And then again, you can get into this problem where you start pointing fingers at that person for not wanting to rebuild the bridge. Oh, speaking of bridges and railway bridges, here comes the train. And you point fingers at that person as if they're the problem, because they didn't want to rebuild that bridge. When they never invited you to rebuild the bridge or never told you that they wanted to rebuild it, you wanted that bridge to be rebuilt. And you went ahead and did it anyway. But then you were sorely disappointed. So stop building bridges that don't need to be rebuilt. When you burn bridges, sometimes you just gotta let those bridges go. Those bridges are gone. Instead, build new bridges. Build bridges to people who want to bridge with you. Build bridges to the places that you want to go, and places that will facilitate your success. Build bridges that will support you and your family. And ignore bridges that take away from you and your family. I guess that's my advice for the day when it comes to bridges. Let me know if you've built any bridges in the past and then had them burned, or burned them yourself and rebuilt them successfully. The reason I've been thinking about this a lot recently is I've talked about my father and not having a great relationship with him, and I haven't seen him in a few years. And it has been playing on my mind a lot. It's kind of been plaguing me, to be honest, and I need to fix it. And I feel like I need to go repair some of that bridge. I wouldn't say that we burned that bridge at any point, but that bridge definitely is in desperate need of repair and has not had any attention for a long time. And yeah, it's playing on my mind, and it's something I want to work on. So I want to work on it before it's too late, you know? So let me know. Have you done something like that? Have you rebuilt a bridge, or fixed a bridge, or repaired a bridge that hasn't been in use for a long time? And what did that look like? Let me know. And I'll chat to you next time.